Welcome back to the Epicurean
and the Herbalist.
Hey.
Welcome back. First of all, we want to say once again, we appreciate all of our viewers.
Yes.
We thank you for your support and coming back each week, making comments,
questions.
Yes, and also liking and subscribe. Our subscribing is coming up, so we're very excited about that. And we're just excited to be back in another location.
Yes. Cars passing by.
Cars passing by. A nice, beautiful location, and we're filming again to tell you some wonderful news.
What's wonderful news?
You don't know what the wonderful news is.
No.
We're celebrating Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah. What's more wonderful
Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up, and this is a very big event. It's bigger than what we make, so we just want to make sure we express that to all our mothers-to-be, mothers past, present, ancestral mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, it is.
And Happy Mother's Day to the number one mother, the most important mother. Who's that?
Who's the most important mother?
I don't know. You tell me. I mean, of course, you are my most important.
I would like to take the credit, but truly, the most important mom would be the mother of all
mothers.
The mitochondrial DNA says it.
Yep.
Happy Mother's Day to Eve, the mother of all kinds. And we want to say Happy Mother's Day to the motherland.
Yeah, Mother Africa. She's
Mother
the
Africa.
Creator of it all.
Yes, where everything began.
Yeah, humankind.
Of humankind. You know, we're so blessed. We just kind of want to take our blessings on that first level, but we want to get real deep with it and get that deeper level of blessing.
Want to get real deep. Well, be real shallow while she real deep.
No, we just want to say truly where it came from. You know, we said you have to count your blessings, but we can't count them if we don't know the origin of them and where they came from, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, it's really good to know that we're just not women and just mothers, and you're just on your own. You know, that origin is so important, and then that DNA, that DNA that the first mother had, and that motherland is still going strong right now. And we're just finding out we're just finding out a lot about it right now. So we're happy to share it, because this is what shapes us, our children, emotionally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. And, you know, we always wonder, and we look at kids and where did they get that from? But we really need to take it back to the very beginning. So we took it back to Eve, and to give her the credit, and to give Eve's parental credit to her creator, her father, Yahweh.
I know, because Eve get a bad rap.
Well, she got a bad rap, but she did what she was supposed to do, because you know what? Everything happens for a reason. There's nothing new under the sun. Yahweh knew that in advance, and Eve had to do her part to bring in the next part. Yep. And all of those parts fit with the other parts that have to be. And now we're doing our part, right? Aren't you doing your part?
I don't know. I'm doing a lot of parts.
Yeah. You know, as you think about it, generational, what I've done, it has made an impact on you.
Yeah, because mothers are the framework to the world.
Right, we are, and this is biblical. But think about how we just pass it on. I'm passing on generational things to my seed, and you're passing on.
Well, I don't know if it's me, because it sounds like a whole lot of you when she talks.
No. that's that mitochondrial DNA that is passing it on. But it's cute. But I look at it and I realize how much work and framework my mother did, and our mothers that have come before us, aunties, all of your aunties and your cousins that you know.
No, I got that many aunties.
Well,
I just got two. I mean, I love them.
They know that you love them, and that's, you know, that we see the things that we're saying, oh, she's just like me, or she's just like me. But more than that, we are a framework of our Creator and the pattern that He gave us through Eve. So Eve is one of the ones. There's a lot of favorite ones that I have that's in the Bible. What, do you know any of your favorites, or do you have any favorites from the Bible?
No, girl, you my favorite. So tell me yours.
Well, one of mine is Jochebed. You know,
and they don't know who that is.
Well, she's in the Old Testament, and this is the mother of Moses. And you know, we think about all the things that we do. So as a mother, you know, the Pharaoh was going around killing people and taking these babies. she was so self-sacrificing. And how many times have you had to sacrifice yourself as a mom? She put her baby in the reeds and the willows, and decided that
I couldn't do that. I was gonna jump in the water with my baby.
But she did it. You know what I mean? So think about that courage that she had to have, that discipline to save that little boy's life and to do what she did. And then think about Mary. What about Mary?
Ooh, I can't do that either.
Well, she was everything. Mary is.
But she was also a virgin, and then you just, I'm pregnant.
Well, they call her blessed among all women. Mary was, she was chosen by Yahweh to be the Yahshua's mother. I mean, when somebody chooses you to say, this is what you're going to do, you're going to bring forth, she had that in a vision. She believed
it. What a crazy game.
Imagine how many people came against her.
I would have come against myself.
Instead, she was lying. You can't just get pregnant like that.
I mean, if you think about it out loud, you would say the same.
I probably would, but at the same time, that was a special time that, women were really, purity was everything. So think about
really
that.
Didn't have a say so.
You didn't have a say so in anything.
I'm glad I was born that time because I got a lot to say.
Well, what about Naomi?
I don't know who that is.
Naomi,
either.
She was the mother-in-law.
Oh, the mother-in-law, I do.
Yes, and think about her. She sacrificed everything to be this wonderful, caring person. About her 2 daughter-in-laws, and her sons were killed, and she was still self-sacrificing, kindness, caring. You see all of these qualities, and to have that in a mother-in-law, to have that in a mother or someone's mother, to be a mother-in-law, this is amazing. We got great examples. We just don't look into those examples, and for me, these are all the examples that I find that puts you without excuse.
Yeah, I've been blessed. I have an awesome mother and a great mother-in-law.
Well, you do, and that's a wonderful package. And for the ones that may not have them present, you do have them present in your ancestors. That's why we're really talking about the DNA and the genealogical effects of this, because a lot of us may not have these people with us in present. But you have to understand, just like we don't see Yahshua here and the Holy Spirit is here, we still have that in presence. That DNA, that mitochondrial DNA is in every one of us as women from the beginning. And we have to remember that those are the things that we depend on, right?
Right.
The stories that we depend on, and the things that give us the strength to go on to the next day. Because sometimes, it's a lot of times I miss my mom. My mom's not here,
I know.
And then you think like, I know. It's sad, but then it's not, because I celebrated
like
her.
This.
Yes, I know. That was one of her favorite things. But I celebrated because she, to me, she reminded me of Elizabeth in the Bible, the woman who waited. My mom waited a long time to even actually be called by her own name, just her first name. No one knew her name. They knew her by Mrs. Bunch,
I know. That's hard to have a husband with a title, and then you're like, that's why you just got to walk in the room. I just kick in the door and be like, hey, I made you.
She waited. She waited a lot for a lot of things, and those things, a lot of them, they didn't come to pass for a very long time. And you thought to myself, how could you have that kind of patience? Yeah. She had 7 children. She had them at a young age. She was a faithful wife, mother. And you know what? And even if we thought she was unfair, she was fair within the things that she needed, that she knew we needed as children. The sacrifices mothers make that we don't, and you don't have the knowledge, because of course you're still in your growing stage, but they're in the stage of being just who they are.
Well, I mean, I think about that even now, saying like how, like I would say, grandma is so like not just like loving, but she was tired. You start having kids at a young age. You don't want to see your damn grandkids at this point. Like,
no, but she wanted to see them, but she also made us responsible.
Yeah.
She saw you guys, but at the same time, she told us when we decided to bring forth life to make sure you were prepared, because
that's
we were
what you
going
told
to raise
me.
them.
When you have them babies is yours.
And I passed that right down to my children, and I meant that, because that gives you an awareness that life is precious.
Yeah.
And we should not, this is not something that we should just take for granted. Everybody should not have children. Yeah. And you should not have children until that you're physically, mentally, spiritually, and psychologically prepared. And that sounds like a joke, but it's not, because it's just the gift of life is, that is a gift. Yeah. It's truly a gift, So these women were truly important. They are important, and they're important now, because we're now living in a time that motherhood has been under attack by the world, I think, and it's not counted as something sacred, but it truly is sacred, and it's not
sacred, and it's the number one job.
It's the number one job. Yes, and there would be no humankind
Yeah.
Without a mother, that's why they call it the motherland. They Eve had an important job, but it's not just her job now. It's all of our job. We just act like it's a job from the past. Like, oh, you did that job and now it's over with.
Right.
Every mother has that same job over and over and over again. When you bring forth life, that life has to be cultivated. And people want you just to give it away. They want you to give it away to the world, to the schools, to the movie theaters, to all of the academic sports, but it's a job that takes a mother to do, and we want to discount it. So today we're lifting up women that are mothers, to be moms.
And also, outside of being a mom, to also be yourself too. Don't lose yourself in motherhood, because you can. Just want to throw that out there.
I don't, do you think you lost yourself in motherhood?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bless you. Guys.
Bless you.
Pollen. Yeah. I think it's easy as a woman first, right? Before you even become a mother, we are natural givers.
Right.
And we consume everything that's around us. And by the end of the day, we give. You don't have much of yourself to give back to yourself, right?
That's true.
And motherhood is a job that does not end. And people are like, oh, it's 18. It's not 18. I call my mom all the time.
Yes.
And I'm in my 40s. I know I look good. Like I'm in my 20s. Wow. But anyhow, the moral of the story is that the job never ends. If something is wrong with me, the first person I'm calling, before I call the police, before I call the hospital, I'm calling my mom. And so it doesn't go away, is what I'm saying. It's a 24/7, 365 job.
Well, see, that's why I said the Bible for me is the greatest example. And people try to discount the Bible, but those stories, this is before mankind. We say there's tampering, but there's enough truth in it for you to see. As we talked about Naomi once again, that was a support group. She had a support group going on for her 2 daughter-in-laws.
Right.
So there's always somebody there that should be to pave the way. You're right. It doesn't stop at her being a mother, but it doesn't stop for me being a mother as well as a grandmother and a mentor to all mothers that may be younger than me, or maybe just being a friend to or someone that cares about another mother that's older than me, a grandmother or a great grandmother. This is part of the lineage, and I think that's probably why I said you don't bless you. You don't get the burnout when we realize that we are strong in numbers.
Yeah.
We're stronger in numbers, but a lot of times we don't like to realize that we have those numbers. There's women that support groups, but we support each other just by
and go.
There's so much construction going on right now with our daughter's home, and there's just construction and construction and construction, right?
Story of my life.
Story of the life. It's beautiful though. But yes, support groups are wonderful, and I think that you were right about saying that, we do lose ourselves, and that's when we don't have that foundation because the world pushes so hard. Don't you think the world pushes hard? You got to be all these things.
But not only the world, I think we imprison ourselves. We got to stop blaming the world, right? Okay. It's because we want to. We're always, and I have to catch myself sometimes of like looking around. You should just run your own race. Right, because we want to look like we're encompassing everything. We're the best mom. We're at all the things. We're doing all the things. You know what I mean? Whatever that thing may consist of, and you get lost in that, right? And people put you in that box, right? But not only do people do it, it's really you, because no one can do anything
unless you allow them to.
Unless you allow them.
That's the part I was going to say now. If there's a truck coming back this way, so I'm going to pause for the cause.
TV time out.
Are we back? We're back. Yeah, there's what I wanted to say was that I think that that's where we give ourselves the grace, and that brings into what we had talked about on our previous shows about self-care. Because as a mother, we do, and you're right. I'm just learning to indulge myself after I would say I've had a run of working 45 years. Indulging myself to say, take a little bit better care of yourself. And a lot of us don't make it to that time to even get there. And that's scary, because we have to realize that we never know when the clock is up, but we should be putting in that self-care, because that's important. If you want to be around for yourself and for the generations to come, that you're right. We do need that to remind ourselves that you don't have to do it all. Being a mother doesn't mean that you have to do everything and come out like a superwoman with a badge on and saying, they had that commercial, remember back in the day, I can bring home the bacon and I can fry it up in the pan.
Yeah, I don't want to bring home the bacon.
Yeah,
and I don't want to fry it up in the pan.
You don't have to do either way.
I mean, that's the freedom of choice, right?
Right. And we shouldn't set examples of ourselves to say that I need to be this type of mother or that mother. But being a mother itself, there should be some softness around it to just make sure. You had a book when you were pregnant, and I really loved that book. It was called Nurturing. You gave that to me because it had all these wonderful recipes, nurturing the postpartum.
Yeah,
I don't know if it
can't
was,
think of the
but
name
it's such
of
a
it,
wonderful book. It's a cookbook.
But they do that in other countries.
Right. And they
the moms take postpartum breaks. Someone comes in and cooks for you, cleans for you, takes care of the baby while you come through that.
Right. And there was another young lady I saw. She was in somewhere in Asia. I don't know what country, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
And she was shocked, and she was there alone. And some elderly Asian woman came in and decided that she could not do anything. She saw her have a baby, and they made her sit for 2.5 months. We don't have things like that in place in the United States.
No.
To say that, you know what, you need that kind of care.
No, it's working.
Yeah, and they gave her certain types of food to make sure she would get her energy back.
It nourishes her and the baby.
And other countries do, so those are things that we should look into. And it's not just during that time, but even supporting you through support groups to say that, yes, children don't come with a manual.
No, and everyone is different. There's no one size fits all.
Definitely one size that does not fit all.
But this is going back to the mother. This is why it's so important to have a community, a village, right? Because you can trade stories. You can not feel alone in all of the things that weigh on your mind at night, right? Because you have someone to say, this is normal. This is what you may feel. You could see the forecast down the line, down the pipeline, because you have that community, right, of women to bounce things off of.
I think it's even important as you get to be elderly that you also support those women, because a lot of times they are forgotten. They're forgotten, and the things that they've done, now they're questioning and doubting if they have worth. And that is just as important, because now as you're older, you're thinking, maybe I don't have the self-worth. I'm not rearing children anymore. I'm not around children. We're taking a
TV time out.
Counting one.
I think this was a good idea.
It was her ideal. It's a beautiful spot, but today they're busy. So we're back again. But yes, I would say the importance of being mothers and saying all of the ages and stages of being a mother. Every stage is important. So I'm not just going to say mothers when you're seniors, but mothers when you're young mothers. They have issues, and people don't understand because they decided to be a mother, or some way obviously became a mother at an earlier age. They have to also look at that to say that what type of support is there for them to nurture them. Just because they did, everything happens for a reason, and they became a mother at an early age. Do they have the support that they need?
Right.
Yeah, because they're not just taking care of that child. They're trying to take care of themselves so they can be there in the long haul. Yeah. But back to our original. We are here to say Happy Mother's Day to our ancestors, to everyone that came before us. We're here to say Happy Mother's Day to everyone around the world, to South Africa. Yes.
To all of Africa, all of Mother Africa.
To the motherland, and to everyone, even in our home here in the United States. And to remember
to
one
mothers
thing.
all over the world.
Yes. Walk in your greatness.
Yes.
Celebrate yourself if nobody else does.
Yes.
Celebrate all that came before you. Celebrate all of those things that came before you, because that's what's going to give someone else the reason to continue. Naomi is my hero, and most of those women are my heroes, and those are my reminders that I use on a regular basis. If I get a little bit down, or if I'm thinking about what could become, I always look at those that came before me, and most of all, Eve, our mitochondrial DNA from the motherland. So, what would you like to say, my love?
I was going to say also, before we get, even to the women that don't have children, right? Because mothers can also be, you could be the mother of your high school students in your classroom, your co-workers, they come to you for advice.
Absolutely.
So we're celebrating the woman.
Yes, the woman and a mother. Yes, because you're the mother even before Eve was celebrated as the mother before there were children.
Yeah.
And we all talk about her faults, and the saying the fall. But you know what? Everyone, we all have faults. We all have had times in our lives that we were down and times in our life that we were up. But if you're a woman and you carry that gene, you're
That's
just,
enough. That's
that is
more than enough.
That qualifies you. Whether you're just a good listener, a friend, an auntie, a cousin, you take care of the family people. Those abilities are already in your DNA, and it's not going to change whether you produce an actual physical child. I was a mother before I was a mother.
Yeah.
I had always had a nurturing personality. I always took care of children. I was doing this at the age of 12, and I wasn't a mother by any means at that time.
Right.
So I'm saying these are things that are in you right now. I see my little granddaughters as being mothers right now,
Yeah.
and because it's in them.
Yeah.
So we're celebrating.
Well, we hope you have a wonderful day of celebration and recognition, and I hope you feel seen and heard across the world. And that is it. We are signing out of all of this construction traffic
For today. Take care.
Peace.
There's my little sign.
At least she used both fingers this time. Bye.